Hello, HoepFlows. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can keep that hope flowing. Alright, today we are starting off with hair that has been treated. The scalp care has been taken care of. It has been finger detangled and stretched. So if you want to see that video on how I did my two-step scalp care and how I stretched and detangled my hair, I will leave it in the info card above. Right now I'm just taking my hair out after I have did my scalp care and moisturized it and stretched it out. Now this is not like a blow dry or fresh stretch. It was stretched for like just a couple hours so I can proceed with the style that we're going to do today. So if you do have hair that's already in a state like this, like it's semi-stretched or semi-shrunken, whichever way you want to look at it, this is a good state to go ahead and do this style, and it doesn't have to be like super blow dried stretched. Okay, what I did is just parted straight up the back and from ear to ear, and I'm just going to clip one side out the way. Right here I'm applying my ORS olive oil smooth and hold pudding to the whole entire section before I start doing the 2-strand flat twist up the back. Alright, when I start shaping anything or working with any section that's kind of large, I brush as I go to keep it smooth and keep all the hair gathered together. So next I'm going to apply the Shine and Jam Edge Magic throughout the part. So it's going to keep all the flyaways and keep the hair smooth when I go to do the 2-strand twist. Okay, I'm going to do kind of like a slow motion so you can see how I 2-strand twist for those who either don't really know how to do it or just want to see how a different technique for doing it. For me, I've been doing this for such a long time. A lot of people say it looks like I'm braiding the hair, but I'm not. I'm just twisting it. So I just take a small section, separate it from the bottom, and I don't separate it in two. I take the next section and pick it up and twist it with that. To really understand what I'm doing, you just have to pay close attention and see how I grab it from the outside and literally just twist it in, and then separate that section, pick up another piece, grab it from the outside, and twist it in. And I'm just going to do this all the way up, but I have it slowed down enough so you can kind of focus in on what I'm doing. Now I find that when your hair is semi-shrunken, it's easier to go ahead and separate each section with your finger as you twist the hair going on up. I don't necessarily comb or brush the hair because I don't want to cause too much manipulation, which we all know leads to damage. So I just take a section, and once I separate that section with my thumb, I separate it all the way through to the ends so it doesn't create more tangles and knots. And it does, my hair is, like I said, it's not super stretched like a fresh blow dry stretch, which could also be achieved with this style, but I wanted to show you the versatility and the possibilities of doing a style that looks elegant and sleek like this when your hair is semi-stretched or semi-shrunken, whichever way you want to look at it. And as you see, because the hair was thoroughly moisturized, and I know it looked like a rough start, but because the hair was thoroughly moisturized, and honestly, I just applied, just the two products, the ORS Smooth and Hold Pudding and the Edge Control, you can see how smooth our beautiful 4C hair came out. I didn't have to tug, combing through it and brushing through it. I mean, you can honestly have sleek, elegant, nice looking results when it comes to type 4 hair, as long as you moisturize it properly and you take care of it. So here we have a smooth, like I said, a smooth 2-strand twist. I'm twisting all the way up the back. Alright, here I'm applying again the ORS Smooth and Hold Pudding to the other side. I'm just putting a little bit throughout this section because it's a rather large section for me to do a 2-strand twist with. I am right-handed, so doing this side usually tends to be a little bit of a challenge. So when you see me twisting it, it might look a little bit awkward, but I want to make sure both twists twist in, and keeping consistency with your styles really changes how the outlook how it comes out. So I'm just pulling all the product through, and I'm going to repeat the same process I did on one side to this side. But like I said, I am right-handed, so doing this side, twisting it in is a little bit more awkward for me, but I do the same process. I just take my thumb and I separate each section and I pull it in, and I just hold it to keep the tension really good and keep the hair smooth. You don't want it super tight, but you do have to apply a little tension, because as we know, working with type 4 hair, it is highly textured. So if you want a smooth style, you do have to apply a little bit of tension, but you don't want to create any problems where you can lead to damage or any soreness. You should not be okay with your style when your hair is sore, you got a headache, or it's leading to breakage or damage. You need to really think about what you did when you did that style, or whoever did the style for you, and come up with another idea, because that is not where we're at right now. We really want to come out with a style that looks elegant and it leads to hair growth, not hair damage. So like I said, as you twist up this side, just take each section and kind of make sure you kind of pull it through. As you see, I'm pulling it through here just to keep the hair smooth. Like I said, you don't want an extreme amount of tension. You just want enough just to keep the hair smooth, because if not, then you're not going to have a smooth result. So there is a way you can create smooth, sleek styles. And I know tension tends to be a negative word when it comes to the health and the growth of type 4 hair, but understand that everything is in moderation. So when you do something, do it with moderation, do it with care, be more careful about how you do it. If you are a person who tends to twist and braid tight, then maybe practice before you go ahead and do your next twist or braid. Practice making sure that it's looser, making sure that it's comfortable on your head, especially if you're doing it on someone else's. I hope that me showing you how I do a 2-strand twist is very helpful. I try to slow down things and make sure you can really see how the process works. So when you go to see a style, I know I've seen styles before on Pinterest, and I'm like, oh, that's a cute style, but you're not quite sure how they did the whole entire process. I try to make sure that you see the whole process from beginning to end, so that you have confidence that when you go to do that style, you can create a very similar look. Like I always say, when you get to your ends, they are the oldest part of your hair. They've had the most exposure to just natural exposure, and they do need the most care. So when you get to your ends, make sure you apply more product to make sure they're moisturized properly. So now I have both twists done up the back, and we're going to proceed to the front of the head. So I'm going to go ahead and clip those 2 twists that I twisted up the back out the way. And what I'm going to do on this side, I'm going to do one on each side. I'm going to do a twist on each side. My goal is to keep the part that I want my bang to be as wide as possible. So I usually try to follow my hairline or the client's hairline who I'm working on. And right where the first, I guess, indent comes, that's where I stop at, because the next indents of the hairline, if there are any, tend to be manipulated more. So I try to stay closer to that last indent, or closer to the section where your ear is, because that doesn't tend to get as smooth and brushed as much, so you have more time for the hair that is going to be twisted down to be left alone. You don't have to worry about slicking this middle section we're going to do. And like I said, I always say, what's the most important thing to keeping a nice, sleek, elegant style? Clean parts. So when you go to do your part, take the time and make sure that's a clean part. It's going to give longevity to your style, and it's really going to give it that pop and that overall nice, clean look. So again, here I'm applying my ORS Smooth and Hold Pudding to these sections. Now this is a section in the middle. It's going to be twisted down and covered by the bang that I'm going to apply when I go to do my bun. So these twists that I'm doing in the middle don't necessarily have to have clean, even parts, because they're not going to show, and they don't have to be slick and smooth on the edges, because like I said, they're not going to show. So when you create styles, when you create protective styles on your hair, change up the sections that you leave out, if you understand what I'm saying, so that you give your hair a chance to breathe, you give your hair a chance to grow on every section. So the style I did before this, I know that I had my hair twisted down all on one side, so now I'm twisting it to the middle. So definitely change up when it comes to styles. Give your hair time to breathe, and it's not constantly manipulated in that section. So again, I'm just doing 4 twists going straight back across in the middle, across from one side to the other. Also, keeping your hair twisted down is a good way to keep it stretched, and a good way for it to stay in a protective style, because when you just pull all your hair back, you don't have the hair as stretched out, and you could be pulling back tangles. So making sure that you have your hair twisted is a good way to be able to apply moisture all throughout your hair before you proceed with your protective style. And it's also a good way to keep your hair stretched. And keeping our hair stretched, we know, is one of the most important things when it comes to retaining hair growth, hair length. So here I have all the 2 twists going up the back and the 4 twists in the middle clipped out the way. So now I'm going to take my time and make sure that the 2 twists, I'm doing 1 on each side, is going to come out really smooth and really clean, because these are the 2 twists that are going to show. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my Shine and Jam edge control in between each part, brush that in. I'm going to do a 2-strand twist up this side. I'm going to repeat that same process on the other side. So I always try to give y'all tips and tricks when it comes to creating clean, elegant, versatile styles with type 4 natural hair. One of the tips you will notice, I try to keep it consistent. I did say this in the back, but just again to reinforce how I've did this process throughout the whole style. I try to keep my twists twisted in the same way. Or opposite ways, more like opposite ways. So by that I mean, if I have the 2 twists going up the back, I want them either both to go in or I want them either both to go out. Same process with the twist that I'm doing, one on each side. I'm going to have them both going in. So those are just little tips and tricks that create a nice looking, elegant, clean, versatile style when it comes to type 4 natural hair. And that's also from a professional point of view, because when you go to get your hair done, you don't want to come out looking like you could have did that at home, you know? So you want to go ahead and pay attention to those little details that really make it worth it. First, care, and second, the complete style. And then you really show that client that you took the time and the care to make sure that you thought about the process before you went on and did it, and you gave your professional expertise when you went into that style. So now here we're using the Freetress Equal Cuban Twist 12-inch number 2, and I actually just have half a pack because I use one half a pack for another style. So I'm using the second half for this whole bang and bun. I only use half a pack of hair. So here what I did is I used the ouchless band in order to interlock that so that it keeps all the hair together for when I do the bang and bun, and I just pulled it really tight so it's secure. Here's another pro tip. When you go to apply a ponytail onto your bun, make sure the ponytail hair is underneath your bun and is coming from the back, so that when you go to flip the hair over your bun, you don't see any trace of the hair that you are installing into your head. So by the time you go to complete the style, the entire style looks very natural looking and blended. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take one section of the hair that I have in my head and comb it out thoroughly, because what we're going to do is wrap it around the roller and do the hot water method to create the curls for our bang. So here I'm just taking the hair and starting at the top. I slid the roller down a little bit from the ponytail so I have room to dip it in the hot water, but I'm just twist and roll, twist and wrap until I get to the end. And if I get to the end before I have and I have more hair left over, I just work my way back up to the top. So make sure your hair, the section that you have that you're going to wrap around the roller, is not too thick, because you want to make sure you have the clamp for the roller is going to be secure. So here I'm going to do that process again. I'm just going to comb out this section all the way to the top, and I'm going to slide the roller down before I start at the top and twist and wrap and twist and wrap and twist and wrap till you get to the end. And like I said, if you have extra hair left over, when you get to the end, just work your way back up to the top. And key tip, make sure that your section is not too big. You want to make sure you can put a clamp on the roller and it stays secure, because if not, you got to add pins and everything else, and that's just more cumbersome. So when you're doing a style on yourself or even somebody else, you want to make the whole entire process as easy and smooth as possible. So here I think the section was a little too big. So here's a trick to do for that. Just slide the roller down a little bit more, because the top is going to be a bun. So I just slid the roller down just a little bit more, and I also felt like I didn't have enough room when I go to dip it in the hot water. So when I apply the clamp this time, it's more secure. I'm going to complete that process all the way across. And like I said, y'all know I don't dip hot water on camera. So I dipped these rollers that I had off camera in hot water, not just hot water, but boiling hot water. That's going to really set the curls for this hair. So I'm going to go ahead and take the rollers out, and as you see, the curls came out really smooth and soft and nice. So we're going to go ahead and I actually had to take a towel and finish drying it, because I was trying to speed through it for the video, because normally I'll sleep in the rollers overnight if I have them in my head in a position I can sleep in. So but I just dipped them, and I'm going to go ahead and take all the rollers out once the hair cools down. I'm just going to take a towel and kind of dry the rest of the water that's kind of dripping, and we're going to go ahead and use the hair that's hanging to form the bun and curls. And for some reason, I did state this on the first part of the video that I had done my scalp care with. My allergies got so bad all of a sudden. Like, I was just sniffing, my eyes started getting red and itchy. So I try to cut out as much as I can, but if y'all see me like bending down or sniffing or something, it's because my allergies got so bad. I was cleaning earlier, and I guess the dust just got to me. So excuse me for that. But now as you see, we're kind of forming the bun. It looks really loose, but it is going to create more of a shape when I work the pins and kind of put it into shape. So just kind of play with the bun so you're happy with how it looks. Apply pins where needed, but don't apply too many. There I go, bend it down again. Girl, my nose is running. But I'm working through this video because things happen in life, and you just press your way. You thank the Lord because it could be worse, and you go on. So here I am just forming the bun, making sure that I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm going to start separating the curls. Now when I separate the curls, I just separate them in half. That's it. I don't want to lose the texture, because if you separate too much, you will lose the texture in this type of hair. So I just separate them in half. And if I separated the hair and it does tend to lose texture, I just cut that out at the end. So don't really stress yourself too much out about that. Okay, so what I did is I just trimmed off a little bit of the ends to try to start creating that shape I want for the bang. And also what I realized is I wasn't really happy with the volume of the bun. So what I did is I just took two sections of hair from the pack and combed it out and put it on a pin, and I'm just going to take it and split it in half and wrap it around the bun. So if you ever get to a point in a style when you're doing a style on yourself or even on clients' hair, just try to stay calm and figure out a way that you can make what you have work and still give it an elegant look versus starting all over again. Because when you start all over again, first you get frustrated, and that frustration carries throughout, and you don't want what you're going through to cause someone else a problem. So if you see where you can fix the style or fix the situation. Now if you're doing a chemical process, it's a whole different story, but when it comes to styling, just stay calm, and there's usually a way that you can create a finished look that you and your client will be happy with. So now I'm just reshaping the bun to make sure that I get the final look that I'm happy with. Okay, here's a little tip I'm going to show you too. When it comes to applying pins to a section of hair that you want to stay lifted, what you want to do is carefully just lift up the hair first, and then really just kind of weave the pin underneath it. And that's going to keep the volume in the hair that you're pinning down and also cover the pin. So now I'm just applying a few gold clips to amp up the style and give it a complete finished look. Okay, here's the finished style. Hope y'all liked it. Hope you were inspired to try a new style either today or in your near future. Like I always say, be encouraged, HoepFlow. You can do this. Love y'all, and subscribe.